Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. Alright, well last week I saw Ghostbusters, and it's been a pretty good run of summer movies so far. We might be getting towards the end at this point. But this week, right now, I'm about to go see Star Trek Beyond. As many of you may know, I have a deep-seated burning hatred for J.J. Abrams in general. I hate every single movie that he's ever made because, here's the thing. Props where props are deserved. J.J. Abrams, he knows how to direct people and get performances out of them. He also knows how to advertise and market his stuff. The man couldn't tell a story if he was reciting it from a book. He sucks at telling stories. He makes the worst movies, the biggest freaking plot holes, just god-awful. That said, he's not directing this Star Trek. So, there's hope, for me at least, that I might actually like this movie. One could hope. One can dream. Though he is producing it, so his hand is in it. So, I'm not completely out of the woods yet. Now, I hated Star Trek. When I first saw it, I was just so blown away like so many people were in 2009. I wasn't quite as jaded as I was now. So when I first saw that Star Trek, I was like, that was so cool, just seeing Star Trek, it was great! And then, let's see, it came out in 2009, I got it on DVD probably later that year, and then, long and the short is like a couple years later, I watched it, I'm like, what? Wait, I like this? I liked this? You don't believe me how bad it is. Watch my I Heard That Movie Sucks for both Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. But, yeah, they're just terrible. Terrible movies. God, like, just, getting mad. Getting mad. Okay, not doing this. Not doing that right now. Because we're not going to see those movies. We're going to see Star Trek Beyond. So, how do I feel going to see Star Trek Beyond? Well, kind of already touched on some of that where I'm optimistic because J.J. Abrams is not directing it, but he is producing it. So, however, it is being directed by Justin Lin, who directed Tokyo Drift and Fast and Furious 4, 5, and 6, which are entertaining. I mean, those are adrenaline ride movies, and they're very entertaining. So, if nothing else, I'm hoping to get something of an adrenaline burst while watching this movie. So, at the very least, I'll be like, yeah, that sucked, but man, what a rush. See, I can do that. I can watch a movie and point out how terrible it is, but still enjoy it, for those of you who think I just hate everything. That is neither here nor there, and I will tell you if that's the case when I come back from the movie. But I just went back and watched 3 trailers for this movie. And I am under the impression that the Enterprise gets utterly destroyed in this movie, which, you know, the Enterprise is kind of a big thing. It's a main character in and of itself. It's the setting for the Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, you can argue that the setting is space, the final frontier, but in reality, it's the Enterprise. Now, they leave that and go to other places, but for the most part, it's the Enterprise. It's a main character, it's the setting for the show, and now they're going to destroy it. Now, that said, they did destroy it in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. They got another Enterprise back in Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. Well, technically at the very end of Star Trek 4. But, so, while I don't know where you're going with this in terms of, like, alright, so we're destroying the Enterprise, are we getting another one at the end? Because, inevitably, that's, what's the crew going to do if they don't have a starship? Are they just going to fly the USS, the USS JFK? The USS Manicotti? I mean, where are we going from here? Unless they're trying to kind of set it up like Star Trek, like the original series movies, where it's like, oh, we're going to kind of make a series of these, and we'll kind of give you another ship at the end of that movie. I don't know. In fact, there's not much I know about what this movie's about. In fact, I know nothing about this movie. The trailer gave me nothing. I think the ship gets destroyed. I think they land on a prison trade planet or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen going into this movie. Now, some people might say, well, that's great. You're going into this movie blind. You have no idea. Everything's a mystery. If it was a brand new franchise or a completely original movie, yes. New stuff, new unknown things are great. But you're doing movie number 3 in a series at this point. I should know something going into it. I should have some kind of vague idea. What are we doing here? So I'm a little annoyed at that. Again, it might be great. It might be great. It's not going to be great. We'll see if it's great. Yeah. Big question mark going into this. I'm not expecting it to be great. I'm hoping it's going to be good. But between the fact that it was produced by J.J. Abrams and, you know, let's be honest, the Fast and Furious movies are paper thin, if that thick. So I'm not really expecting Shakespeare. I'm not really expecting something great. Dude, Bob's Burgers has more in-depth story and character development, you know, than a Fast and Furious movie. So I'm really not expecting anything out of this movie. Not to say that I won't be disappointed if I get something. But let's go from there. Anyway, I'm gonna go see this movie, and I'll tell you about it when I come back. Laters. Damn it. A little bit. Not too much. No, that looks good. Hey, y'all. Hey, guys. FilmCrazyAdam here. If it looks like I've got a little stubble here, and if it looks like I'm wearing a completely different shirt, you're not losing your mind. It's because it's been like 3 or 4 days since I've seen this fucking movie. Oh, God! Oh, God! This fucking movie. It's awful. It's terrible. It's everything I feared it to be and more. I mean, I know, I said, like, this movie's, I'm not expecting anything, but, oh, God. Oh, I hate you, Justin, whatever your name is, who directed this movie. You made a movie you made a Star Trek movie. You did worse than J.J. Abrams. Granted, J.J. Abrams, no doubt, was there and doing what producers do and just kind of telling you what, you know, you kind of putting their 2 cents in. Oh, God. Oh, no! You fucked it up more! You ruined it further! What is wrong with you people? Leave Star Trek alone! Oh, no! You motherfucking bastards. I hate you all. God dang it, I hate you all. It's been a couple days since I saw this movie, and it still pisses me off. I keep thinking of more things that are fucking wrong with this fucking piece of shit movie. So that's reason one why it's been 3-4 days since I saw the movie before I'm doing this review, because it just hurts so much. I'm just so pissed. Like, more so than either of the first 2 Star Trek movies. I haven't been this pissed about a movie since Man of Steel. And before that, Prometheus. This one is going to make... I have a strong suspicion this one's going to make it to the top, in the top 11 worst movies of 2016. I really do. The second reason why I waited a few days to do this review is because today, Wednesday the 27th, marks 6 months to the day that I got a strike on my account on YouTube So now, strike should come off. I'll double check it when I post this tonight, but I'm pretty sure the strike's going to come off tonight, and I can finally post things longer than 15 minutes, and I don't have to keep putting stuff on Vimeo, or at least I don't have to keep putting these went to the movie reviews on Vimeo. I'll keep putting other things on Vimeo. But anyway, don't make me think about the movie. I had to write a list. Every time I sit down and think of this movie, I think of something else that's fucking wrong with this movie. This movie dick smacks Star Trek in the face is what it does. This movie takes the original series, it whips out its cock, and just smacks it in the face and says, take that. Yeah. And then it defecates on it. And then it wipes its ass with the original series. Need a drink. No. I'm not going to stop the camera. Really actually going to do this. Oh, God. Where are you, God? You have forsaken me. I thought, surely to God, that this Star Trek Beyond thing, it's got J.J. Abrams' name on it. He's the producer. But surely to God, somebody else can make it a better movie. Or at the very least, somebody will look at the script, like the director will look at the script and be like, what is this, dude? This is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Why would I film this? Why would you film this? How did you film this? You are a monster, J.J. Abrams! You are a fucking monster! And so are you, Justin, whatever the fuck your name was. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? Fucking hate you so fucking much. Let's start. Alright. There you go, people. I think this movie is an abomination. It's an affront to God and Gene Roddenberry himself. Gene Roddenberry is rolling in his grave going, no! What are you doing? Stop! He's already dead. Or at the very least, Gene Roddenberry is like, God, I'm glad I'm dead. Don't say this was based. You put it in the credits that this is based off of my creation. I hate you. And yet, people like this movie. I don't understand. Well, the only way I can understand is if you've literally never seen any of the original Star Trek. If you've never seen the original series, any of those episodes, any of those movies, that you have no idea. And you know what? There's a lot of people who have gotten into Star Trek because of the two J.J. Abrams movie, and no doubt this movie too. And it's like, it's such a bastardized version of that series. Things that are still bastardized in this movie is things that they made that they continued the bastardization of and then made worse in this movie. Okay, remember that Spock and Vulcans and emotion? No, fuck you. No. You think Vulcans are emotionless? No. According to J.J. Abrams? No. Fuck you. Fuck you and your emotionless Vulcans. That's not how they are. Yeah, you know how Spock, twice. I guess. Well, the pilot, the pilot episode called The Cage, it doesn't count because that was the very first episode. They were still figuring stuff out. But in the original series, after it kind of got momentum, twice in the entire series, 2 or 3 times in the entire series, and then once during the movies, really, does Spock really show emotion. in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, a tear runs down his eye, and that's it. But he never like really shows emotion. Like he's constantly keeping it under wraps. I forget the name of the episode, but it's the episode that introduced Pon farr, which is every 7 years, Vulcan males, their blood runs hot, they can't control their emotions, and they become really agitated and angry. It's, to use a crude term, it's male Vulcan PMS for like until they have sex. Seriously. Vulcans every 7 years go through Pon farr where they get really horny, really angry, and really emotional until they bang their wife or a grapefruit or something. So you can give that allowance. Even in the end of the episode, when Spock saw that Jim was not dead, he was ecstatic. He was happy for like a second and a half, but he got it back under control. He was back on top of that. He got those emotions down. In this movie, Spock is smiling. Spock is laughing in front of Bones of all people. Yeah. They were Bones, Spock, and McCoy. Bones, Spock, and Kirk are kind of like the three amigos. But there was constantly kind of a rivalry between Bones and Spock, not for affection of anyone, but they just kept trying to one up each other, and so Bones would always kind of needle Spock somewhat, and Spock would always be condescending and snarky as hell, but would never show his emotion. Ever. So, the fact that in this movie, Spock is laughing. He's chuckling and smiling and laughing in front of Bones. Fuck you! Just fuck you! So they continue the bastardization of Spock. Not only that, but like, in this movie, they really make Spock, like, he's got no substance. Like, the first two movies, there was a lot about, specifically Kirk and Spock, that they really focused on those two. A lot. And then to a lesser extent, Uhura. In this one, they really kind of emphasized, they emphasized McCoy, Carl Urban's character, a lot more. Which I'm glad they did. He's a great actor, and that's a great character. I mean, he's perfect for that character. He's so good as McCoy. And so I'm glad he had more of a part to play, and he had more presence, and it was more... Like he had way more presence than Spock. He had, I thought, way more parts and way more screen time, and so great for that. But like Kirk and like we start off. All right, we start off the movie. Here we go. We're starting this. We're doing this. We're doing this. Okay, so we start off the movie, and Kirk is doing a captain's log. No, he just gets back from a diplomatic mission to these Pokemon that roll around. What's that one from the Johto League? That looks kind of like an elephant. It's gray. It's kind of, well, they're not gray, but they basically act like that thing does. They roll around. They're about the size of a large like guinea pig or something. I mean, he goes to this alien planet. I guess he's in like their high chamber or something, or their courtroom, whatever. And as a sign of gratitude, he's giving this thing called an Abernath, which is an alien weapon, and he knows this. He says, "We're giving you this as a sign of," or like this other alien species is giving. We're giving this to you on behalf of them to help relations with them, but also with the Federation. And this is one of their customs is a sign of trust to somebody else is giving them a weapon, one of your weapons, and just giving it to them. Which I'm not going to argue on like made up fake alien customs. They have some weird ones in Star Trek. There's one alien race in the Delta Quadrant in Voyager where half of their communication is vocal and the other half is like hand motion. So it's like when you're saying hi to somebody, it's like ha, You know, it's like, hi guys, we're going to the movies, and then we're gonna have dinner. Like, seriously, they're striking jazz hands, and it's very Cirque du Soleil. It's an actual episode in Star Trek Voyager. I think it's season 4, season 5. Janeway's got a ponytail in it. But whatever. They give him this weapon. So we established this Abernath, this weapon. We don't know what it does. We don't know how it works, but we're told it's a weapon, and to give it to these people. They get pissed off, and Kirk flees, and he does a captain's log while Spock puts this thing in the vault in the Enterprise. Now, the Enterprise then downloads all of, like, this was never really a thing in Star Trek, where, you know how your phone syncs up every night at midnight or whenever you have it set to? Your phone syncs up so your contacts and your pictures and everything are saved on the cloud? That wasn't a thing in the original Star Trek, but they're kind of implying that it is in this universe, where basically everyone's logs, every data entry, everything about the ship is uploaded to the Federation cloud. So anyone, anywhere with a Federation ship can access anything and everything on every other ship. That's what's implied in this movie. Kirk then does a captain's log, which kind of brings us up to date. They're like 3.5 years into their 5-year mission, and Kirk is whining and mopey and emo because he can't find meaning in his fucking mission. Are you kidding me? It's Captain James T. Kirk. He lives for this shit. Flying out, exploring new things, banging new alien girls everywhere. He lives for this. He doesn't get bored with this. He doesn't cry and whine. Oh, I'm so lonely. I hate this. I just want to go home. Seriously. He's mopey. He's whining. He's bored. He says, he specifically said, I don't understand what we're doing out here. What's the meaning of this? Fucking exploration, dude! That's what it's about! That's what the ship is about! That's what the Federation, that's what their motto's about! To go out, explore, strange new worlds, new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. That's what they do! That's what Kirk does! And then he's whining? Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so bored. I just want to go to a starbase. Yeah. Oh, by the way, right after this failed alien diplomatic mission, they go to a starbase. And I use that term very lightly. They go to the Yorktown. Fuck this shit. Fuck this. This is... Deep Space Nine is a starbase. Utopia Planitia is a starbase. This is not a fucking starbase! If by starbase you mean space colony, then yes. When you are talking something that is like 100 miles wide, okay, if you've ever seen Treasure Planet, do you remember what the spaceport looks like? How it's like this arcing thing, and so like at one point you're on this end of the crest, like it's a half moon crescent. You could be on this side of the crest, and then the crest goes around, and so literally you could be looking up at buildings facing you. Like it feels very Inception, which that term might be substituted for Doctor Strange in the near future. But anyway, it looks like a gyroscope. I mean, there's like 18 crests. It looks like a dog toy. You know how like dog toy, like it's basically a ball, but it's like it's a little rubber cage with like bells and like there's different like. It's bullshit. It's not a starbase. When you have a population of literally millions of people, you're not a starbase anymore. You're a fucking colony. Star bases have a crew on it. They have, it's a way station. It's a truck stop. Is what a fucking star base is. Yeah, there's shops there. Yeah, people live there. Yeah, we got a school. Yeah, we have multiple ports. We can accommodate like 30 ships. This thing could accommodate the Federation fleet, the Romulan fleet, the Klingon fleet. I mean, this thing is fucking huge. This thing is gigantic. That's not a space station. That's not a space station. It's a moon. I mean, this is easily somebody like, that's no moon. That's a space station. That's how fucking big this fucking starbase is. No, that's not a starbase. It's a colony ship. No, it's a space colony. Millions of people. And again, with the... No, fuck you. All of you. Damn all of you. Everyone involved with this movie. Fuck every last one of you. Fucking starbase. So Kirk goes there and he's all whiny to the, very professionally whiny, but whiny nonetheless, to the person in charge who runs this small planet of a space station, of a colony. This thing had to be like half the size of the United States. It had to be. This thing was fucking huge. The Enterprise literally flies around inside of it at like full impulse power for like 5 minutes. So they're going fast and they're going far. And my God, that tunnel went forever. So, and it's located right next to this nebula. This nebula, by the way, which doesn't look like a nebula, it's a giant death cloud. It looks like Galactus from the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. It's this giant dirt cloud. Arguably, you're like, well, nebulas are giant dirt clouds. They're dust and rocks and stuff. But this is, it's like a storm is constantly going. Like, it's never, like, it's a constant sandstorm. There's lightning going on. There's giant asteroids, and it's constantly in motion, and they can't see anything. They can't scan anything. It's so stupid. But yeah, they're parked right next to this nebula. Right next to it. Then, an escape pod. An escape pod just happens to pop out. They pick up, what's her name? Kalara, who doesn't speak English, though she's human. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. This alien isn't an alien. She's a human that's over 100 years old. That's been, alright, I'm going to jump ahead, okay? I'm jumping ahead. The main villain here, you've seen him in the trailers, I think. He looks like, if you're familiar with Star Trek Deep Space Nine, he kind of looks like the Jem'Hadar looking motherfucker. His name is Krall. K-R-A-L-L. Krall. But it sounded like Krull, like that 1980s movie. But he's human. He, the chick, and one other dude are the surviving members of the USS Franklin, a Federation starship that was lost 100 years ago. Now, they got stranded on a planet in the nebula. And they found some alien tech. Okay? And they're using this alien tech to keep themselves alive. And somehow it's changing them. But it's okay, because they're still human, and later on in the movie, there's a scene where Krall tries to escape into a crowd of people, and he's dressed in a Starfleet uniform, and he looks like a human. Like, somehow the alien tech made him look different. But he can just turn it off whenever he wants. He can look human whenever the fuck he wants. Oh, and he absorbs life by just touching people, and he absorbs life like the Like the Queen in Snow White and the Huntsman. Oh. Fuck did I just watch? Oh, god dang it. This is why I go crazy, people. I see shit like this. I see stuff that I actually pay money for. I die inside. I see my childhood ravaged before my eyes. I need a hug. And some water. And I keep yelling in my throat. Yeah. So you got Krull. But we haven't met Krull yet. Why? Because Kalara, what was the fucking excuse, the tissue paper thin excuse that she uses? Basically she says, "Help! I need your help! My ship's inside the nebula!" And so Kirk just goes, "Alright, we'll do it." Jumps in his ship, recalls his crew from their liberty, from their freedom, from their free weekend, and they go back into the nebula. And they find this planet that's just sitting in the middle of the nebula. And they're attacked by a swarm of ships. Had to be hundreds of millions, if not tens of millions. If not that, then it was tens of millions. But you've seen it in the trailer, like this swarm of alien ships that just fucks the Enterprise up, and that's what it does. It just tears it up. First, you know, the fronts are, you know, poke into the Enterprise, and then they open up, and mindless robot drones jump out. Mindless robot drones, they drop out. Krull jumps out, and like his other guy, like the third surviving member of the USS Franklin. Again, they don't look human at all. They are fucked up, and they look different because of the alien tech that's been keeping them alive. And they arrived on the Enterprise to steal the Abranath. They showed up to steal the Abranath because they know what it is. They know how it works. And they want it to destroy the Federation. And we're going to start with the Yorktown. Yeah. Yes. We're... I have no motivation. I'm sad. I'm broken. I'm angry. Ugh. Remember in the first Star Trek movie when Eric Bana is thrown back in time like 250 years into his past, and his planet's gonna get destroyed. He's seen it. He saw it happen. And instead of going to his planet in the present and warning them, he sits there. He turns on his cloaking device, parks his motherfucking ship, and he sits there for 20 motherfucking years waiting for Spock to show up. Does nothing except sit there for 20 fucking years. I don't know what happened in this movie. I don't know why they do things like this. Further backstory. Like, I am so jumping ahead in this movie. Like, all the stuff I'm telling you about Krull, and the fact that he was a human, and the fact that he was the captain of this ship, the USS Franklin. The whole backstory behind the USS Franklin is this. It's a ship that went missing 100 years ago. 100 years ago, the Federation just got formed. And when the Federation was formed, we made friends with everybody. Or at the very least, that was our motto. We're just out here. We're not here to kick anyone's ass. we're here to, if you mess with us, we're gonna kick your ass. But that's not what we're doing. Our job is to meet people, say hi. We're new here. You want to be friends. That's all the Federation wants, and show us new things. We want to see new things. We like new things. That's what the Federation does. These guys were hired into the Federation after they weren't born into the Federation, where it's very much a philosophy and a way of life for many people. The ideals that the Federation lives by. But these guys were mercs. These guys were like war-hardened soldiers, and they were hired to the Federation. They were made officers, and they were given this ship. Go out, explore, find new worlds, strange civilizations, so on and so forth. And the movie tries to kind of convey that because that they were soldiers and mercenaries, or maybe not mercenaries, like they were soldiers in the army. Because they were soldiers, and the Federation isn't a military force. Now, in Deep Space Nine and in any space conflict, it's the Federation. I mean, it's the Federation. We don't have a military force. We just have it's hard to explain. Like we have weapons. We got tons of weapons. We equip the living fuck out of our ships. And the idea behind that is, well, we're sending it out. We're sending all these ships out into the great dark beyond. So I mean, like, they need to be able to handle their own, or else they're never going to come home. We need them to have awesome shields. We need them to have awesome weapons. But we're not here to take over. We can. And in conflicts with the Board and the Klingon and everything, we send our ships. It's just, well, that's the Federation. It's not a military force, but we have weapons. So we'll kick your ass if you make us. And you have strategists, and you have people who, like, all walks of life. This movie really tried to emphasize how these soldiers are so hardened and so different and so not human as humans are, that they couldn't comprehend and they couldn't deal with this whole buddy-buddy, friendly, touchy-feely hug, friendship is magic thing. They went out there and they wanted to me big man, me caveman beat you up. Friendship? Me not know friendship. Me, what friendship? No, we not know your friendship. No. Fuck you and your friendship. Like, really, they try to emphasize that, like, these guys couldn't get with the program. They were too hardened. They were too heartless and bloodthirsty. That these soldiers that we gave the ship to couldn't possibly figure out, this is our new mission. That's it. Evidently, somehow, the psychologist who worked at the Federation looked at these guys. Yeah, they're perfect. These guys, which seem to be which might be mentally unstable, they're perfect for sending out into space. But anyway, they get lost in a wormhole and they land on this planet. They're there for a while. The ship, by the way, fully fucking intact. Fully intact. Jumping around again, there's a girl, Jayla, a female. You've seen her in the trailers. Again, she's the one with like the white skin with like the black lines on her face. She found, it's not a crashed ship. I mean, they never say it is, but like they imply it. Like, this ship landed on this planet fully intact, fully functioning. It just needed new batteries. It just needed somebody to top off the tank. I'm not kidding. This ship, which is like 100 years old, Jayla's been living in for however long it's been since she's escaped Krull's encampment. She is Scotty and Spock and Chekhov get this thing up and running in like an hour. 3 guys. I mean, Scotty's supposed to be like the greatest mind in all of Star Trek. Like, he's the Mr. Fantastic. Like, if Mr. Fantastic is the most brilliant mind in all of Marvel, Scotty is Star Trek's Mr. Fantastic. That's really how it's kind of implied. So, I mean, he's supposed to be really smart, but I mean, still, 100-year-old ship, they get it up and running in an hour. They get the engines running. They get the shields running. They get, like, weapons going. They get the motherfucking transporters working. He's using transporters 100 years old. And he even says, yeah, these things weren't really designed for human, but I tweaked it. It was really easy. Yeah, I'm working on a ship with 100-year-old parts, and, you know, I don't know how they're still working, but they are. And I have old tools. I don't have new equipment. I don't have new pattern buffers. I don't have new targeting sensors. But I fixed it. Yeah. Just fucking fixed it. There's suspension of disbelief, and then there's go fuck yourself. So, they were trapped. So, the USS Franklin lands on this planet. The crew, all but 3 people, are dead, or they resort to cannibalism. I don't know. There's only 3 left. Again, it's implied that they crash, but this ship is fine. There's no hull breaches. It flies fine. Everything. It just, what the fuck happened? Why is that ship there? Why is everybody dead? Why didn't they just leave the planet? Alright. I mean, Kirk doesn't have an engineering degree, but you go to Starfleet Academy. You learn basic stuff. Like, I'm not a mechanic, but I know how to... Like, I'm not a mechanic, but I can look at a car and be like, alright, you need oil. Alright, that spark plug looks a little blown. Okay, you put the wrong... The wrong connectors on the battery, and oh, that tire is flat as hell, and oh, I think the transmission fluid might be a little bit low. Like, I'm not a master, but I can look at it and kind of be like, all right, I see there's something wrong with it. I can BS my way through. Like, I can maintain a car. I can't rebuild it. Anything like super complex, I can't do, but I can maintain a car. So there was nothing wrong with the ship. So I don't know why they didn't just, the dilithium crystal chamber's a little low. Because again, ship flies fucking fine. Flies right through that nebula like it's nothing. So yeah. Krull, his ship was fine. His name is Edison. Balthazar Edison, his human name. So his ship is fine. However, he finds this alien tech, like I said, on this planet, which helps keep him alive and gives him this ability where if he touches somebody, he absorbs their life force. I don't know how he's been doing it for so long. But, so he's got the alien tech. Somehow, some way, in the last century, this asshole who could not figure out how to repair his own not broken ship builds an entire fleet, millions upon millions of ships. Where did he get these ships? How did he make them? Where did he get the material for them? You would think, surely to fucking God, I am going to cannibalize my starship with all these good parts on it and, like, build something. An array, you know, an antenna, a radio, a shelter, more ships. I'm going to take the good parts and build a smaller, more efficient ship. I'm going to use the shuttles on this ship to fly away. No, he does none of that. But somehow builds an entire armada. An armada of armadas. Millions of little ships that are super heavily armored. That are designed to just rip into other ships. Bash right through them. Tear them apart like tissue paper. Like wrapping paper. Like wet toilet paper. just shred these ships. In the same way that in the same way that a shotgun with buckshot in it would just shred like a shoebox. Just that's what it does. So he has all these ships, but somehow the radio, even though this ship the USS Franklin was around just after, like the Federation got made like 2 months ago, and they sent the USS Franklin out, or maybe like a year before, but somehow can connect to the Federation cloud, because right after the diplomatic mission, Kirk, punches all, or Spock files the Abernath into the ship's computer and into the vault, and it goes to the cloud. And somehow, Krull has been waiting 100 years to find this thing in the Federation database. He finds it by using, I don't know what he used, because he doesn't have a Federation ship. He has the USS Franklin, but I don't think 100 years ago it had Federation cloud technology. But we'll say that it does. Okay, he's got this ship with Federation cloud technology, but wait, no he doesn't, because he abandoned it 100 years ago, which is why Jayla lives there, because he abandoned, not only has he abandoned it, Jayla, it's really cloudy on how she got there. They got too her family's ship or her civilization ship got too close to the planet, and his swarm ships took him down, and now they're in his encampment. Though you never, ever, 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 ever see anyone but Federation people in this encampment. You're kind of led to believe that he has this United Nations of aliens where anyone comes by and he just kidnaps them and holds them on his planet and then drains them. Evidently, he's out of people because there's no one there when the Federation gets there, when the Enterprise gets there. And Jayla's living on the ship that he has no fucking, he landed there 100 years ago. No idea where his ship went. Why? Because Jayla, for some reason, has really, really good hollow emitters and is disguising the ship to look like a side of the mountain. Or at the very least, putting... They're even better than hollow emitters. They're cloak projectors. But the thing is, it's not a cloaking device. It's making the ship invisible, so you're seeing through the ship into what the ground and the mountains around it. I think. Either that or it's projecting what looks like a mountain around the ship. It's bullshit. Those things must be drawing so much fucking power. Where the fuck are they getting it from? Because she's not plugged into the ship. Because that thing has no energy. Oh wait, yeah it does. So Krull has this millions upon millions of little ships. He can leave... He can leave the nebula whenever the fuck he wants. But no. He waits for, I can only imagine, decades until finally it pops up in the Federation database, which again, I don't know how they control it unless they, no, I think they're tapped into the Wi-Fi for the Yorktown. I'm not even kidding. And somehow hacked into, his guys are not smart enough to rebuild an engine, but they're smart enough to hack a computer. And he's been waiting. I don't even know where he heard of the Abernath, but he's been waiting years for this thing to pop up in the Federation system so that he can go, all right, I got it. He's got part one. The Abernath is 2 parts of a bioweapon, where you put them together and then you twist them and you make sure all 6 sides are the same color, and it lets out the bad, whatever's in that one stone in Thor: The Dark World, that black stuff that comes out and infects, what's her name, Jane, Natalie Portman's character. That stuff is inside the Abernath, and like when you open it up, it just dissolves people. Like it's like it's space acid, but in particle, weird movie CGI form. It dissolves you. It's acid, is what it is. But it's a lot of acid, so it can, or maybe it's a disease like a flesh-eating one. I don't know. It's just they don't explain it. It's just. It's a bad bioweapon. It bad. That's no good for you. That's not good. That's bad. I love my friendship-flavored water. I'm starting to lose some of my steam. I really needed to talk this out. Thank you guys for listening to me. I really needed to talk this out and really vent about how fucking stupid this movie was. How long have I been going? Oh, wow. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit. So, yeah, let's see. Krull's ships. Oh, yeah, the girl. It's so obvious she's such a... the girl that arrives in the escape pod says, please come help us. Again, not again, but... So, the Abernath is on the Enterprise. This girl is sent there to, bait them in. And it works, but of all the ships in the Federation, the Abernath is only on the Enterprise. It just happens that Kirk's like, yeah, I'll go for it. I'll help these people out. How did they know it was going to work? How did they know that it was still on the Enterprise and not deposited in the vaults at the Yorktown? And how did they know that Kirk would say, yeah, I'll go help you out? Like, way too coincidental. Stupid. She's one of the guy's crew, and Kirk kills her by by flipping the saucer section over on her and crushing her. Yep. After the Enterprise is torn to shreds, the saucer section crash lands on the planet. Kirk goes back to the saucer section to retrieve the Abernath, I think, but the girl, Kalara, goes with him, and in an attempt, to give her a hard time, basically, to make it harder for her to kill him and McCoy, he hits the thrusters on the bridge. This ship, which has been torn to fucking shreds, like no power, like emergency power emergency auxiliary backup power at best, and he fires off the thrusters, and these thrusters, all of them just flip the saucer onto this girl's ass, and Kirk and everyone get away alive. Kalara, fucking still, let's see, Jayla. Oh yeah, Jayla knows English. Somehow, Kalara, which is a human, can't speak English. Krull can speak English. The other guy never really speaks it. Like, somehow, the aliens, with their alien tech, this alien tech warped them, and somehow they developed their own language. They stopped speaking English and made up their own language for some reason. Kalara doesn't speak in English. She has a collar around her, which works as a universal translator. Like, she talks, and then the collar translates, which is really annoying and distracting to have her talk, and then the collar immediately talk right over her. Like, you know how they do it in interviews on the news, on TV, where somebody doesn't speak English, somebody speaks Spanish, or whatever it is, and that person starts speaking in English, Spanish, and immediately there's a voiceover in English, but they do the smart thing and drop the volume on the person speaking Spanish, so the person speaking English can be heard and understood clearly. Yeah, they don't do that in this movie, so it's really annoying. It's really annoying, and it's like at times I miss a word or two because I'm like, wait, you're both talking at the same volume, so you're talking over each other. Let's see, J-Lo's Hot Emitter, the USS Franklin. Everything is so convenient. The bad editing in this movie was atrociously edited. It's bad when I'm sitting there with my girlfriend and she's like, I feel like we just missed something. What do you mean? I feel like we're missing a scene. Like they cut something and didn't add it in. Or like they were editing something and forgot to edit the second part in. I am so proud of her, by the way. When I'm jaded as fuck, I go into movies and immediately I'm pulling stuff out like this. I'm like, wait, hold on. But I don't say anything. And a lot of it I just let go by. Because, believe it or not, I go into movies to enjoy them. And even though there are movies that I go in and just like, this is a piece of shit, but I'm enjoying it. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so much of that is crap. But I can sit there and enjoy it. Ghostbusters, not so much. Independence Day, I tried. Oh my god, did I try to let that just flow over me. Just be like, no, enjoy it for what it is. Get, feel the nostalgia. Get the nostalgia back in. But nope, you didn't. Like, when it is so overwhelming, I can't look away. I'm like, all right, this movie's done. We're 15 minutes in, and that's it. I gotta watch it because I can't review it without watching it. But I mean, you guys are done. I've given you all the goodwill I've gotten. It's over. So I'm jaded as fuck. My girlfriend and my friends, not as much. But it's you're a bad movie when the people who aren't jaded start going, what just happened? She was pointing out stuff to me. She's like, did you see that? I'm like, I saw that. She's like, where'd they get the weapons? Or like, why is she speaking English? Jayla, again, alien, speaks English awesomely. Like, I mean, better than Jackie Chan speaks English. And she had to learn it from, I don't know. Like, I think she listens to she listens to our music. Somehow learned English and is better at it, even though there's nobody who speaks English that she has to talk to. No one that she can work her English skills with on the planet until the Federation guys get there. And it's so convenient that she speaks English. She speaks it better than the humans that spoke it from when they were humans, who forgot how to speak English, made up a different language. I mean, what the fuck did I just say out loud right now? It makes no fucking sense. There are tons of examples of, I feel like there's more to the scene, but there isn't, because there's not. There's, when the way Scotty abandons ship, escapes from the Enterprise while it's blowing up, is he jumps inside. He gets an air oxygen mask, and he jumps inside a photon torpedo, and then fires it off to the planet, and pulls out an Xbox controller and starts, because as we all know, photon torpedoes have exterior cameras on them. The fuck was he doing? Oh, I'm inside. I'm inside this photon torpedo tube. I can't breathe. No, I can breathe. I got an air mask. I can't see anything. There's no exterior cameras on this, but I'm gonna fly. I am going to direct and fly this photon torpedo. Yeah. Fucking, I almost spiked that controller like a football. I was so pissed just thinking about it. You've seen this in the trailer where he pulls the mask off, he sits up, and the torpedo's like, kind of like, it's balancing on the edge of a cliff, and it starts to go over. And he turns around, he runs, and jumps, and grabs the ledge. And it's actually pretty awesome. You're like, oh, that's so cool, that's so Indiana Jones. And then it cuts to something else, and we don't see Scotty again for like 15 minutes. The next time we see him, he's walking through the woods. He's hanging from this ledge, and this ledge is like 3/4 of a mile above the ground. Like, he is really high up there. And he is just hanging from this ledge by his fingertip. It would have been nice to see him pull himself over. I mean, some people be like, oh, well, we know he survives. I would have liked to see him do that. I mean, he's hanging from his fingertips, and we cut away. And we don't see him again until he's just walking through the woods, and he runs into Jayla for the first time. they really just gloss over so many things. Like Krull, he doesn't explain his staying young. He has two Starfleet people like hanging upside down, like almost in cocoons, like heads down, feet up, completely tied up, and he's yelling at Uhura, who's again trying to be tough like she was with the Klingons. And I think she even asked, like, how do you guys stay young? He's like this! And he grabs the two heads, and they start screaming, and they start glowing, and he starts screaming, ah! And he starts glowing. And so, like, he absorbs them. But then we cut away. So we don't actually see, like, these husked bodies. We just kind of, like, I think he absorbs people, like, with vampiric energy. I think that's what happens. Maybe. Oh. Dear God in heaven. Alright. I've been ranting for nearly an hour, not including the first part of this review. I've been so let me wrap this up. Where I officially lost it in this movie. Well, I lost it early on, but where my sanity snapped like a Twix bar, where I went, "Oh, come on!" Like I've been holding off the entire movie from yelling that, and after Kirk and his remaining crew have made their escape from this alien planet on the freshly ready to go USS Franklin. Everything's almost fully operational on this fucking thing. They're flying towards the Yorktown because here are I forgot Krull's plan. This is Krull's plan. Remember how I said they're battle hardened soldiers? They feel all right. This wormhole catches them, throws them onto this planet, and so nobody knows where they are. And because it's space, we can't find. Do you guys remember what was it, like 2 years ago, the Malaysian flight that went missing? We still haven't found where that is. We still don't know what happened to that jet plane. So we can't find stuff on our own planet. And this guy, he's lost on somewhere in space, and he's mad, and he's mopey, and he's emo. I'm talking about Krull, the captain of the Franklin. He's whiny and emo that he thinks the Federation gave up on them and just wrote them off. And like, oh, well, they're just soldiers. Who cares about them? We're not going to look for them. Because it's so easy to find stuff in space. So he's mad and bitter that they forgot about him and gave up and said, fuck this, screw this guy. We don't care about him. That's why we're not going to find him. That's why we're not going to rescue him. Fuck this guy. Who likes soldiers? Nobody loves soldiers. Fuck this guy. He's a soldier. So he's angry at the Federation because they didn't find him. So in revenge, he wants to destroy the Federation, which makes perfect sense. So he stayed alive for the last century, hoping to find this alien bioweapon so that he could then drop it on the Federation and go, ha 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 ha, screw you, Federation, and your ideals. You need soldiers like us. I'm not making this up. I'm not kidding. He's mad that they don't want to be bloodthirsty, murderous soldiers. Not that soldiers are bloodthirsty and murderous, but that's how they're portraying them in this movie. That he's mad that that he thinks the Federation doesn't want them, and so 100 years after the fact, everyone that he ever knew or knew him is dead. And so he's going to get back and murder everybody because. And he's not just murdering humans. He wants to kill everyone in the Federation, which is hundreds of worlds and, hundreds of civilizations and alien races. So his plan, his master plan, is to take this alien bioweapon, first drop it on the Yorktown to show how much of a badass he is, and then take his show on the road with whatever advanced tech to up the power of this bioweapon, and he's just going to what? Go to every planet in the Federation and just wipe it out? Starting with Earth? Really? That's your master plan? Really? Look, if you were just going to destroy the Yorktown or just destroy the Earth, okay, that's doable. You know, one ship, one planet, no one will see it coming. It's going to be hard to stop if you've got one target, but like, your plan is to wipe out the galaxy. Really? Do you see why I get pissed off? Do you see why I lose my fucking mind? So, to attack the Yorkshire, the Yorktown, he's flying up with his fleet of millions of little tiny ships, and the Franklin, like Spock, and he's like, you know, these ships, there's no possible way that they're all driven by people. You think? They got to be computer controlled, and so, you know, there's an algorithm. I don't know how it comes to this, but he basically says if we do some if we pump very high frequency into the airwaves, it could destroy the ships. What? If we pump VHF over the airwaves, it'll just... What? Why? Why would it do that? But this is what they do. And this was kind of awesome, and it would be funny in, like, a cartoon or a comedy, but not in Star Trek. Like, this would be funny. Actually, this wouldn't even be funny in Doctor Who. It would just be like, yeah, that sounds very Doctor Who. The Franklin flies around the alien fleet broadcasting, I shit you not, the Beastie Boys. Broadcasting punk rock and roll. Fucking everything just goes up. He partially saves the universe with rock and roll. I know how awesome that sounds, and it is awesome. But that's where I went, oh, come on! No! Well, yeah, because it's the Beastie Boys, but no! Even like I said, Doctor Who would pull this, and they would. But even Doctor Who's like, this is a bit of a stretch. Even Doctor Who would be like, this is a bit of a stretch. But, I mean, like, or not. I mean, it's Doctor Who. But, you know what I'm saying? It's not a Star Trek thing. That wouldn't work in Star Trek. Just a bunch of computer-controlled ships blow up because they're pumping some serious beats with the Beastie Boys. God almighty. God almighty. Oh, fuck you. For some reason, after they save the Yorktown, I keep saying Yorkshire. Yorkshire is a class of starship in Star Trek. After saving the Yorktown and the Yorktown rebuild, they build a new Enterprise, the Enterprise A. They go into space, and now Kirk is all for it. He's like, yeah, I don't want to be here on the Yorktown. I want to be a captain again. Not that I ever wasn't a captain, but I'm gonna be a captain, yeah. So, the reason why I haven't talked a lot about the main characters is because very little focuses on the main characters. This entire movie is all about the backstory of the USS Franklin and how stupid and fucking retarded it is. So idiotic. This really is this is right now really close to the top of the worst movie I've seen this year. I did not think they could do it worse than J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, I mean, so many plot holes. I mean, like, he didn't direct it, but he might as well have. God, alright. Yeah, I've been talking way too long on this at this point, but I mean, I needed to get all that out. So I thank you all for bearing with me and letting me vent my frustration. I hope none of you have to sit through this pile of shit like I did. I got the Bourne Jason Bourne coming out this weekend. I'm gonna check that out. Probably won't do a went to the movies, but I'll probably do a quick review. Couple things coming down the pipe sooner or later. Anyway, that's that, people. God, I wish I drank, because I would go drink now. Anyway, that's Star Trek Beyond. Laters.